Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Oh, we need some Sameach, some light and some light. Now, what this is an eighth Ratzon, the perfect time to bring the light in. So, so Hanukkah celebrates the rededication of the Holy Temple, the place where the infinite meets the finite, and where the spark of God bursts into flame within us. And each year we recall that this great miracle happened there, which is really there, is really here. And that same miracle is happening inside us as we heal the desecrations that we have suffered, and we rededicate our lives to holiness. So thinking back in this past year of the desecrations, I think of the last 4 years of desecration that I feel like I'm healing from. I want to bring this light of Hanukkah to become aware of that desecration and to be able to make the turning, to let the light be ignited in me again, to clear the place of, when I think of the rubble. So the temple of our soul is desecrated whenever we endure a sense of separation from God or from each other. And the temple of our soul is desecrated when we become cynical, or when we feel unworthy or afraid, and when we stop trusting the essential goodness of life. So on Hanukkah, we have an opportunity to clear away the debris that has accumulated in our inner temple, and then kindle the flame of this renewed intention to stay connected to the mystery at the center of all life. Because that connection with God is our lifeline. That remembrance of God gives us our freedom. And when we forget God, that expansive mystery at our core, we risk becoming enslaved to the illusions of the most narrow perceptions. So there is this core metaphor, this foundational story of our journey to freedom. And God, every day we remember that story of God bringing us out of Egypt, the place of narrow perception. And God brings us out for one reason alone: to be your God, to exist in holy relationship. And so this is the key to our freedom: conscious connection to the reality that lies beneath the surface of things frees us from the bonds of the material world and allows us to expand beyond the arbitrary limits of a particular conditioned perspective. And yet our freedom is elusive. When we left Egypt in search of it, we were blocked by this encounter with this impossible sea, and when we crossed that sea, then we fled into the wilderness, and we encountered within us the enslaving attitudes and habits of rebellion and complaint. And even after we stood at Mount Sinai and received the moment of clarity, we still fell back into habits of busy mind and cluttered heart. And so God says to us, make for me a holy place so that I can dwell inside you. Because it's possible to stay connected with me um, in all places, even as you engage with the life of the world. So when we make a place for God to dwell in our lives, then we don't get caught in the illusions of separateness. And God then will be available and accessible to us in the innermost chamber of our hearts and in the inner dimension of all creation. So spiritual practice for me is about making our lives into a mishkan, a dwelling place for the divine presence. And about a third of the book of Exodus is all about building the mishkan, which is a portable sanctuary that we carry through our wilderness journeys. And the purpose of the mishkan is to send us to the space within so that we can receive the mystery of presence. So just as a great poem points us towards a truth that is beyond words, so the beauty that shines from the Mishkan of our lives illuminates the beyond that's within us. So as Judaism evolved, the function of the Mishkan, the place of connection with God, was represented by the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. And when the temple was destroyed, the place of that connection moved inside. Prayer takes the place of sacrifice, and the altar of sacrifice is hidden in the dark recesses of our own hearts. So the story of Hanukkah reminds us that even the holiest place within us can become desecrated. So we are commanded to enter our own darkness, our own wounded hearts. Survey the damage, don't be in denial, clear away the rubble, and then light a candle to rededicate ourselves to holiness, to our own wholeness, and a connection to the cosmos. It's truly, it's miraculous. And then we'd say, oh, this is so miraculous that a single spark of hope can ignite the radiant fires of passion that illuminate the way forward, and even on the darkest night. So as the days grow short and the night grows long, we are invited to enter into the darkness of our own hearts. And there, buried beneath the rubble of our disappointments, we find the miraculous spark of our divinity, the awesome knowledge that we're each created in the image of God. This is the spark that kindles this festival of lights. Each night of Hanukkah, we're going to light another candle. Each night, the light gets stronger and the shining its radiance into our own hidden places. So the great miracle of healing is happening here within us and between us. And when we call that light into our own places of darkness, when we bring the healing light of compassion into this inner crevices of shame or fear, and so it's an amazing time. And I called this class diving into the darkness and opening to the light, because that's what Hanukkah is. It doesn't, it happens when the sky is still getting darker. It's still getting darker. So it's the moon is shrinking. So on the fifth night of Hanukkah, we'll have that darkest time, the dark of the sun and the dark of the moon. And then the light will begin to return, first in the form of the moon and then in the form of the sun. So we, being a people of both the moon and the sun, celebrate both. So, but there is this first, it's like we can't skip over the going into the dark. So, and we have each other to, hold hands with the people in the next frame. Square here, everybody hold. You can hold hands there, and we can enter the darkness. So the chant that I thought was miraculously for this moment is a very gentle way of entering into the beginning of that darkness, and it says, "In His shade we delight to sit." So it's saying, it doesn't necessarily have to be a scary thing. We can go into the shade and delight in that darkness, because darkness really is the place of infinite potential, and so we want to explore it and we want to bask in it. So we don't just bask in the light; we also bask in the darkness, which is that mystery and that potential that is being awakened inside us. And we live in a place where the sky really gets dark, and the darker it gets, the further you can see of the stars. And so I think of that as the inner skies as well. We go into the darkness so that we can see far. And those the stars are things that would in the light wouldn't be visible, become visible. So let's go bask in the darkness. בתפילה עמדתי וישבתי, בתפילה עמדתי וישבתי, בתפילה עמדתי וישבתי, בתפילה עמדתי וישבתי, ופריו מתוק לחיכי, ופריו מתוק לחיכי, ופריו מתוק לחיכי, ופריו מתוק לחיכי, בתפילה עמדתי וישבתי, בתפילה עמדתי וישבתי, בתפילה עמדתי וישבתי, בתפילה עמדתי וישבתי, ופריו מתוק לחיכי, ופריו מתוק לחיכי, ופריו מתוק לחיכי, ופריו מתוק לחיכי.
Imadati Velashavti Bitsilo Imadati Velashavti Bitsilo Imadati Velashavti Bitsilo Imadati Velashavti Upiyo Matoklafiki Upiyo Matoklafiki Upiyo Matoklafiki Upiyo Matoklafiki.
And once more, basking in that darkness.
Bitsilo Imadati Velashavti Bitsilo Imadati Velashavti Bitsilo Imadati Velashavti Bitsilo Imadati Velashavti Upiyo Matoklafiki Upiyo Matoklafiki Upiyo Matoklafiki Upiyo
Right, to keep your eyes closed, bring your attention to the breath. Feel yourself leaning against that tree of life, resting in the shade. And bringing your attention to the breath, imagine that each breath is the sweet fruit of our lives, the fruit of being. You want to taste it, savor it. And even in this dark time, even in the rubble of our desecrated temple, you can find that small cruse of oil, which is the miracle, a place of within us that is way more powerful than we know. So I want to just breathe into that. And rest in the truth that even in the darkness, a light shines. So when you're ready, you can open your eyes, and I think I want to say the first place where that light shines is in the faces here. So we might want to just look around, connect us to the light that's shining in our faces here.
Yeah.
That is shining from within.
Oh, and people have their menorahs, their Hanukkahs there.
Yeah.
It's nice to see. You joined us in lighting the candles.
So this light is it's essential that we find it. Even when we face whatever desecration that has happened in the world and in us, searching through that rubble to find oh, there it is, there it is. And then we say, oh, but it's just a tiny little bit, oi, oi. And then the miracle happens that if we have the faith in that tiny spark, it's it has this amazing power to spark each other. So and when it sparks, so this is a light that shines for the upright. So it means that you have to stand up inside yourself in order to receive it. We can't just sort of be slumped down with the terrible year that we've had. We have to sort of stand up inside. And what we will find there is Chanun, Verachum, Tzedek, which is the grace, the compassion, and our sense of justice that's going to move us into creating this new world out of that tiny spark. So this is a 3-part round. Maybe Rachmil and I might do 2 of the parts at some point, and then you can do your 3rd part too. But it's really kind of a chant that feeds our faith. And I think this is one of the chants that I composed for Susan Wendell's convergence ceremony, because she has that such a light, that she is such a light. So let's see if we can shine it for her. Is this it? Zarach b'choshefor, Zarach b'choshefor, Zarach b'choshefor, v'yisharim Chanun v'rachum So opening up the dazzling darkness. The light that shines even in the darkness. So the Baal Shem Tov has the teaching that we need to surrender first. We need to do the hakna'ah, the surrender, the becoming humble, coming out of denial, opening. And then we get to the point where we can do the practice of Havdalah, of discernment, of finding the spark of God even in that darkness. And only then can we come to the place of hamtaka, of sweetening. And that's where we're headed, with this light, and with the Chanukah Gelt.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any.
Oh, my goodness.
The sweetening that we're all ready for. But it is, this is the time of journeying, and journeying into our own places of our own darkness, to find that spark, to do the Havdalah, the discernment that finds it that finds that oil in the that little cruise of oil within us, even amidst the rubble of our lives and the rubble of this world. So I wanted to take this journey with you into the soul light. This amazing pasuk from Proverbs that says, "My soul is the flame of God that searches the inner chambers." It means who we are is a light that can illuminate all of those dark places and find the treasure, really. So this is also it's a four-part round, and we can chant it in Hebrew and in English. And I want to take just a couple minutes in the end of the chant to find an image, a feeling of what is the treasure that is hidden underneath all of it, inside us. And but we have to first take that journey. So Ner Adonai Nishmat Adam Chofetz Kol Chadrei Batem. Ner Adonai Nishmat Adam Chofetz Kol Chadrei Batem. My soul is the flame of God that searches the inner chambers. My soul is the flame of God that searches the inner chambers. Ner Adonai Nishmat Adam Chofetz Kol Chadrei Batem. Ner Adonai Nishmat Adam Chofetz Kol Chadrei Batem. My soul is the flame of God that searches the inner deep into your own desecrated temple, into that darkness. And use everything you have of the inner sight to search for a light inside. And that light might be a particular quality that wants to come forth. It might be an idea, might be a hope. And find it and see if we can clear away some of the rubble of the past. Find what is that treasure. And if you want to put words to it, you can write in the chat what it is you found. And share that light. So we'll take in the light of everybody's light. So remember all of these words as we light the candles this week, that we are opening up those capacities inside us that maybe got buried under a lot of rubble, and it's a powerful gift inside us that we're bringing forth. So I wanted to do one more practice that I call it eyes, hearts, and hands, and it's a practice of light, but of taking that light and connecting the light of our eyes, bringing it into the Dveikut, the depths of our hearts, and then connecting our hearts to our hands, which we call the mitzvot, what we do in the world. So we say ha'er einenu, and we must want to enlighten our eyes with your Torah, and your Torah is everywhere when I open my eyes. So enlighten our eyes from the Torah, and v'dabek libenu, I want to go inside to that place of dveikut, of connection in my heart. And it has light in it, So, but I'm taking that light and creating an energetic connection with what I do in the world, what I make, how I touch, how I embrace, what I cook, what I bring, all of the gifts that we bring through our, through the work of our hands into the world. It's not enough to, isn't there some kind of thing about hiding your light under a bushel,
Somebody said
that, some kind of bushel. I don't know where that bushel is, but we don't want to hide our light under it. And so we want to take that light, integrate it into the deepest place inside us, and then find that connection with our hands. And what I like to do with this practice is I like to stand and not knock over anything,
Mm-hmm.
and and to really move with it. Let's see if you can find the space to do that. So we say, and they want to see Torah everywhere. And go into our hearts. And you feel that connection of your heart and your hands. And again, we're going to take off those veils. ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך והאר עינינו והאר עינינו והאר עינינו בתורתך ודבק ליבנו ודבק ליבנו ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך והאר עינינו בתורתך ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך והאר עינינו בתורתך ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך והאר עינינו והאר עינינו והאר עינינו בתורתך ודבק ליבנו ודבק ליבנו ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך והאר עינינו בתורתך ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך והאר עינינו בתורתך ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך והאר עינינו והאר עינינו והאר עינינו בתורתך ודבק ליבנו ודבק ליבנו ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך. And once more, give it all you got. Do it with your all of your strength. והאר עינינו
בתורתך,
בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך. והערננו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך. והערננו בתורתך, ודבק ליבנו, ודבק ליבנו, ודבק ליבנו במצוותיך. So turn your hands towards the screen here and see if you can send with your hands the light that you found in the rubble of your desecrated temple, so that we can all kind of spark each other, really. We need each other to do that.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So we're gonna in a couple minutes we'll break into small groups just for 10 minutes to share anything that you received about this practice, this Hanukkah, what your hopes are, where's the desecration, whatever has been sparked by this time together. And I want to ask you also to, if you have the inspiration, to go to my website and give a little donation in honor of this light that you are receiving this week. This is what is sustaining us through this time.
We're so grateful.
Yeah. So keep it flowing, and we will. We get to have 2 Hanukkah KZOOMs.
Yeah, all
Because
right.
next week it's still going to be Hanukkah.
Yay.
But boy, we're going to be.
Ooh,
We're going to have lots of candles, lots of light. That's going to be great. And Diana saying Chag Sameach in Spanish.
Uh-huh.
So anybody who is leaving, go ahead. And those who want to just stay for a 10-minute connection,
Love you, bye.
that would be great. And then I'll call you back in 10 minutes. Let's see. Let's see. Wait a minute. Everybody here is staying here. Okay, now 3. Let's see. No. Okay, here we go. All right, I'll call you back in 10.